So we're here with our fourth candidate that we're interviewing tonight after the CD11 Livable Streets Forum. Mike Bonin, current Chief of Staff to Bill Rosendahl, running to replace Bill as he moves into retirement. I think the obvious first question to you is you have an advantage because you get to run on all the good things that Bill's done, and at the same time you get to, if there's something that people don't like, get to go, oh, well, you know, I'm not Bill, I'm someone different. So we'll start with the question of, no city councilman's able to get their entire agenda accomplished. Sort of inside the transportation realm, is there something that Bill's worked on that you're looking forward to advancing if you're the next council member?
Oh God, I mean, there's a number of things. I mean, some of them I think will happen regardless of who's in, but it's about the stewardship of making sure it happens well and on time and on budget. One of those is getting Expo to Santa Monica. The other is getting the Green Line into LAX. The airport has now offered up essentially its administration building, so now for the first time there's a real clear, foreseeable path to get the Green Line into LAX. But then to get the rest of that infrastructure to work, to make sure there's a people mover, to make sure the Crenshaw line gets in there, that's key. The other things that Bill has worked on that I want to shepherd to completion would be, you know, building out, making sure we build out the bicycle plan for the city of Los Angeles. Making sure that the bicycle parking ordinance actually gets implemented and is not one of those things that gathers dust on a shelf and people make exceptions to. Making sure that when Expo opens, that we integrate and coordinate the bus lines on the west side. Big Blue Bus, Santa Monica Bus, and Metro, so that people can actually get to the Expo because there's not going to be enough parking.
And I think that's interesting because you did talk about how there's a lot of different buses out here and trying to get them to all work together. I think other people have tried that and it hasn't worked. Is there do you have a plan to sort of get that to happen? Because it's tough, especially with the Metro board sort of rotating its seats for the city.
It's always a challenge. I think one of the things that I would like to see that will help Los Angeles have more leadership is it would be great if the new mayor and the council president can find a way to coordinate so that whoever is the chair of the transportation committee also has a seat on Metro. If you have someone who chairs the T committee at the city level and is in charge of the Department of Transportation, but also is on the Metro board, then you've got exponential power and an ability to make some changes. I obviously would love to be that person and also sit on the committee that oversees the airport, so you really get a lot of bang. That would be a huge sort of power base for transit planning in LA. But one of the things, even independent of that I think can be done is to play the role of fair broker and get Metro, Santa Monica, and Culver City all into the same room together. There's a different rationale for having an integrated system than there was before. You know, with the Expo line there's now the potential for it to shift from being three different, somewhat competing, sometimes complementary systems to actually being the feeder system for the spine and the backbone of West Side Transit.
Now, with Bill, we had to do a whole video and threaten not to give him his award to get him out to ride a bicycle. But you are a more experienced cyclist. I didn't know that you were telling me when I saw you at our fundraiser in December that you got your bike at Orange 20, which is where we were doing our event.
I did. I tell the story that I bought my bike at Orange 20 with Sarah Hamilton, who at the time was the press secretary to Mayor Villaraigosa, and I told her I had a $700 budget, and I think I spent close to $1,200 or $1,300 bucks for things I will never use and things I don't even understand. I ain't doing anything professional on a bicycle, but I do like to ride around the neighborhood to commute for stuff. You know, I have a bike at my office to get back and forth, my campaign office. I have on occasion a bike to our West LA office, which is on Santa Monica and the 405. I do not dare try to bike up Lincoln and go past Loyola and get to the Westchester office. That ain't going to happen. But I would like to occasionally, if I'm on the council, actually bike to work. I definitely want to use Expo all the time. And I'm a big fan, a big user of the beach bike path. My partner Sean and I, not as often as we used to, but tend to bike from Venice down to all the way down to Torrance and stop in Hermosa. Good stuff for a nice breakfast.
And you had a bike bike valet at your office.
Yes, we
opening,
did.
Right? Was there was there a message there to go with just having it easier access?
It was, it was for practical reasons as well as sort of, trying to live the culture shift reasons. The office is, our office opening was on a weekend when the store next door, the Dennis Grind, is particularly busy and there's a lot of meters, so I wanted to encourage people to carpool and make it easy for people to bicycle. But I also believe that if we're going to try to create alternative transportation and mass transit in LA, if we're going to try to create this culture shift, we've actually got to exemplify it and live it, which is why I want to regularly take the expo to work at City Hall if I'm on the council. It's why I want to do constituent hours as nature walks or physical activities, maybe do a sort of bike the beach thing periodically like Jane Harmon used to do during campaign season, just to continue to show that this is doable and worthwhile.
The last question I ask everyone, not just in these, but every time I do a Q&A, is if you had the magic wand or the genie in the bottle and could change sort of one thing about transportation, planning, land use, culture in Los Angeles, what would you use your wish on?
There are things I would do if I had more money. There are things I would do if I had more resources. There are things I would do if I had more time. All of those things, whether it's a rail line from the airport up into the valley or that integrated network of bicycle lanes, will eventually happen with time or money or resources or political will. The thing I would do if I had unlimited power, if I could wave a magic wand, it would be I would spark imagination in Los Angeles by getting everybody to use public transportation just once. A day, maybe not all in the same day because that would be a problem, but get everybody through a magic wand to try public transportation, to get past their fear, get past their reluctance, get past their resistance to it, and understand that it's a reasonable, practicable, fun way to get around that makes life easier. The thing we need most is the culture change where people adapt to the new potential that's emerging. I think in 30 or 40 years, will be a very, very different city. How we get from here to there is the challenge. So my magic wand would be sort of spark that imagination, make it happen quicker.
Great, never heard that one. There's two tonight that I've never heard before. All right,
Cool.
Thank you very much,
You bet,
and
man.
good luck.
Thank you.
Take care.
You bet.